guys, hope you're all doing well. So I have a video that I'm very excited about because this is something that I've wanted to do for a while. Today we're going to talk about my curly journey, so where I started and how I got to where I am today. So before we hop in, I do want to note that I had always worn my hair predominantly curly. So my journey is going to be a little bit different from someone who was straightening their hair every day or someone who had chemical damage from, say, bleach. But I did do a fair amount of damage and thought that I was treating my hair healthy, even though I wasn't. We'll get into it. Okay, so we're gonna start with high school because that's when I really started to get a routine down and started to style my hair every single day. And when I say every single day, I truly mean it. There was no such thing as day two for me. I was waking up every single day before school and washing and styling my hair. The weirdest thing was, even if I was putting my hair in a bun, for some reason I would still shower, put the same amount of product in, and then put my hair up in a bun. Had some very weird hair habits at the time. But the biggest thing that you're gonna notice about this picture is that my hair is flat, central on the top. I don't know what it was. I think that I was afraid of volume in some way or associated it with humidity. So I just kept my hair as straight as possible on the top. Doing this also gave me a little bit of extra length, so I think that's part of it, but like flat was the way to go for me. But in high school I was using 2 mousses, which is pretty much what I used until I found CG. I actually just tried my high school routine. If you're interested, you can click up in the cards. It did not go well. So moving on to college, my hair was long, which I'm kind of jealous of, but honestly, it wasn't that healthy. I was going a super long time in between haircuts and really stretching it. So I think I actually got a haircut before college started, and I don't think I got another one until my sophomore year spring break. And so I should mention that I had done this for pretty much my entire life, going a long time in between cuts. But for some reason, once I got to college, that just stopped being okay. So in a lot of these pictures, you could see just how straight my hair got and how loose my curl pattern got. But that's because it was like dead all the way up to here. I needed so much cut off. But I was fully delusional and thought that it was fine. So when I finally did go to get a haircut, I had to get a shocking amount of hair cut off. I remember that I told the stylist, like, just cut off the dead pieces, not thinking that, hey, you have like this much dead to cut off. So my hair went from like below my ribs to up to my shoulders, which honestly it's like kind of like this length. But in college, that was so drastic for me. I was absolutely devastated, 100% cried over this haircut. And that kind of like shifted in my brain how I thought about my hair, because all of a sudden my only goal was that I wanted it to look long. So this was a real turning point for me because I started heat styling a little bit more regularly. So up until this point, I had only straightened my hair about 3 or 4 times, I want to say. And even then I knew that if I was straightening my hair regularly, that it would do a lot of damage. I kind of came up with a method to heat style my hair and kind of get around fully straightening it. Basically, another girl that I had met who also had curly hair told me that what she did to make her curls look longer would be to like take a piece and then stretch it out, and then you would take your flat iron and clip, and then when you let go of the curl, it would kind of stay in that lengthened state because you pressed it with heat. And so that became my go-to, like, if I'm going out, I'm going to do that to my hair. So doing this gave me inches back and a much looser curl, so I really liked how it looked. But that was pretty much the only heat styling I was doing. I wasn't really doing anything fancy with the straightener until my junior year. My junior year of college, I started playing with the straightener a bit more. So instead of just doing my stretched out curls, I started curling my hair with a flat iron. I'm one of those people who, for some reason, can only curl with a flat iron. I have no idea how to use a curling iron. I've never been able to get it to work. For some reason, flat iron is the way for me. So what I would do is wash and style my hair, put all my product in, wait for it to dry, and then I would take the straightener, take pieces, and curl them kind of outward from my face. I was trying to go for like a Farrah Fawcett look. In my mind, I was like, oh, well, I'm just touching up a few curls. But the thing is, if you've ever used a straightener to curl your hair, you get these like big barrel curls, and my curls, pretty tight. So if I'm touching up my curls, I pretty much ended up having to do my entire head so that it all matched. I really liked how this looked. I still like how this looks a lot, but I was pretty social in college, so I was doing this like every Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which is a lot. But in my mind, I was like, I'm still wearing it curly, technically, so can't be bad for you. Which is, what? That is not even, like, I don't understand the mental gymnastics I was doing to be like, I'm not damaging my hair. Well, after a couple months of doing this, so this picture I think was like September, fast forward to January of my junior year, my hair completely stopped holding its shape. So in this picture I'm looking at it down here, it looks so flat. I was doing the exact same thing that I was just doing a couple months earlier, curling it with a flat iron, but it just stopped holding its shape altogether. So clearly I was doing a lot of damage here, but once again, thought I was still wearing it curly, but clearly had a very loose definition of what wearing it curly means. My hair was not holding up to heat styling anymore. And the thing was, the way my hair looked wasn't just changing when I was heat styling, it was also changing when I wanted to wear it curly. So I don't have a lot of pictures of what my hair looked like not heat styled, because pretty much anytime I went to an event where I needed to take a photo of myself, I was heat styling. And so my curl texture started to look really flat, super stretched out. But you ready for some more mental gymnastics about me thinking my hair is still healthy? So you know that like thing that everyone says that's like your hair texture changes every 9 years? So I was like, oh my god, my hair is finally getting wavier. I've always wanted wavy hair. I don't have curly hair anymore. This is great. Can you, like, I don't understand what was going through my head. My friends were like totally agreed with me. We're like, yeah, you have wavy hair now. Your hair looks totally different than it did when we started college. Cause I started using a straightener. Duh! In my mind, once again, there was nothing wrong with this. I just had a looser curl pattern now. So another thing I want to mention is that pretty much from my drastic haircut my sophomore year to the end of college, my hair stayed about the same length because I was like scared and started going to get haircuts more often. But I never felt like it was growing long enough. After I graduated college in 2016, I was like, this is it. I have the time now. This is when I get long hair. And that's a joke because that never happened. So my hair was dead. And once again, I had no idea. Here is a picture of me. No heat styling. This was after work at a bar with friends. My hair type looks like 2A, 2B here. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having those hair types, but clearly that's not what I have. I also want to mention that I clearly wasn't going out as much as I used to. So during the week, I was not heat styling at all because I would just wash my hair in the morning, go to work, whatever. Still wasn't really wearing day 2 hair, and if I did, it was just me throwing my hair back in a bun, but my curls didn't last multiple days. However, anytime I traveled on the weekend, I had to bring my straightener in case I needed to touch up my curls. And so, like I mentioned, I was trying to grow my hair out, but I started running into issues. My hair started to get shorter and shorter, and at first I blamed the stylist. I was like, I just need to find a good stylist. And then I kind of started to blame myself. I was like, it's me, I'm not communicating with the stylist. I'm not doing a good job of telling them that I want long hair. And then I kind of started thinking, maybe I need to look into something else. Because the thing was, my ends were dying faster than my hair was growing. My hair was just never going to be long. Like, it was going to continue getting shorter unless I made a change. So I also want to mention that I was deathly afraid of getting layers around this time and just wanted my hair to be all one length. So this picture I actually posted on Reddit directly after I got my hair cut. I titled it, "Curly hair doesn't need layers." Number one, it looks like I have no hair in this picture. Like, I don't know what was going on with my density. I can't help but think about if my hair was fully curled up in this photo, like healthy, you know, as tight as my spirals are now, it would be like this short. It kind of hits around the same length as my hair now, but my hair is probably double the length. So finally in 2017, I was like, something needs to change. And I had to go back to figure out when I started researching the Curly Girl method. I thought it was 2018. It turns out it was way earlier than I thought. So in September 2017, I started researching the Curly Girl method. I had heard about it before, but had never really wanted to take the plunge. The reason why I wanted to look into it was not because I thought my curl pattern was going to spring up, because once again, I thought that my curl pattern just changed, it was because I just wanted long hair. So I just thought using better products might get me longer hair in my mind. So I started my journey on Reddit and the Naturally Curly forums, which are both great resources, but it's really hard because a lot of what I was looking at were forum posts that were not necessarily tied to a picture of a person. But I was just kind of going off of the curl typing system, which is really, really hard when you can't see a picture of a person. So someone might have said, oh, I have type 3A hair and I use this, and then I would go out and buy it and hate it. I also started with a lot of drugstore products, which I must always stress, there's absolutely nothing wrong with drugstore products, but a lot of them are super duper heavy. So you just have to be careful, and if your hair likes heavy products, awesome. A lot of the products I was buying were shea butter based formulas. Nowadays, if I use a product with shea butter in it, I use like a pea-sized amount, but I didn't know that back then. So I was using like 2 quarter-size amounts of a curl cream and being like, why do I hate this so much? And so this is where my journey might like differ a little bit from someone who was coming from straight hair and never styling their hair. As someone who had always worn their hair curly, I knew what it felt like for my hair to like a product. I was familiar with the idea of slip and, you know, getting that nice seaweed feeling. I knew that a lot of these products that I was buying weren't working for me. I even made a spreadsheet of like different combos to try, but I just kept buying new products. If I had taken a step back and looked at the ingredients, I probably could have seen, hey, you keep buying the same formula over and over again with a different name. Maybe I could have gotten to a better place faster. Wasn't really into the complicated part of the curly girl method at that time. I also wasn't doing any like curly girl styling. So like obviously on Instagram we have 1,000 different ways to style our hair with the weirdest names like praying hands and glazing, I don't know. But I was still doing my like rake down from the top method. So there was nothing crazy. I just wanted my hair to be long once again. Okay, so this next one I just find hilarious. So I had seen a photo online of a girl with her t-shirt plop on, and she had went to bed and woken up and her hair was perfectly dry and curly. So I was like, let me try that. I snapped this picture to my friends in the morning, and let's just read this caption. A little too curly for my taste. Girl, you have curly hair. What? I just can't get over the things that I said. I mean, granted, my curls do look a little smushed because I think I probably had the plop on too tight, but either way, I want to shake myself. So I kept trying different things, and I should note that I wasn't 100% curly girl at this time. I was still using non-curly girl shampoos, I believe, and then my beloved Tresemme Tray 2 hairspray, which is full of alcohol, and I would douse myself in it every single day. Wasn't like fully there yet, but figured that I didn't really need to use all curly girl products for my hair to grow. I just thought maybe just my stylers. Whew, I am sweating right now. I have to have the AC off to film because it's so loud. Trying to get this done. Okay, so eventually I stumbled upon the curly part of Instagram in June. I think it must have popped up on my Explore because I was looking for like curly haircuts and hairstyles, but like, shout out to the curly gods for gracing me with curly Instagram, because I do not think I would have gotten to where I am today without Instagram at all. So it was actually June 12th that I discovered the curly part of Instagram, because I have tons of screenshots from that day, and I ran out and bought a ton of products immediately. So one of the first products I bought was LA Looks Gel, which is a super affordable curly option. And looking back, I don't think these products really vibed with me, and I'm pretty sure I'm using it in this photo, but I was still trying different things and trying to see what worked. So as I started to spend more time on Instagram, I decided to start experimenting with different styling methods. Finally. No more styling upright. Let's see how styling upside down goes. So I did it, and what a difference. Finally, some volume. But here's the thing. It lasted maybe like 2 hours because I don't think I put enough product in. And I was too afraid to go out like that in public. Genuinely. I did not like the idea of having so much volume and really just wasn't comfortable with it. So I would experiment with styles like that on the weekends, but would still do my upright raking method during the week. And so it's actually funny, a conversation that I had with my mom about this exact style. She was like, I like how your hair looks, but like it looks kind of dull. It doesn't really look shiny. And I was like, you know what? I just discovered this new product on Instagram called Bounce Curl, and I think I'm gonna order it. I think that would make my hair shiny. It's a little bit of foreshadowing for you. So like I said, I was too nervous to style my hair upside down in public, and here's how I was still styling my hair. And I should note I had no selfie game prior to the Curly Girl method. Honestly, did not like taking pictures of myself at all, so this is an entirely awkward photo. This is how I was still styling my hair, so still got this weird like straight-ish curl because I was trying to force everything to be flat, which is such a major difference from what I had done just days prior. So going back to that foreshadowing that we had just a minute earlier, I eventually did buy Bounce Curl, and oh my god, my hair loved it. Pretty much up to this point, I had been using only moisturizing products. There was nothing that I was using that was high protein. So this was my first ever high protein product, and my hair drank it up. There was such a night and day difference between how my hair looked with this product versus my other products that I was like, this is it, this is the one I'm using. I should mention that I was only using Bounce Curl. No cream underneath, just Bounce Curl Light Cream Gel. And so obviously this was a great hair day for me, and I started taking tons of pictures of my hair because I was just in love with how it looked. But then I had an epiphany. So I put together my first before and after, and this is about 1 year into being CG-ish. And I was like, holy crap, my hair was so damaged prior to this, and it was my fault. I did this. And all of that weird mental gymnastics and thinking that my hair was healthy all throughout college, finally, I was able to see the light, like, no, you were doing damage. Heat styling your hair all the time is not okay, and using products that are better suited for your hair is gonna make a difference. And so all of a sudden, my goals for my hair shifted as well. So like I mentioned, up until this point, I was pretty much like, long hair, that is all I want. And while I still will always want long hair, no matter what, my goal became healthy hair over long hair. That was just my goal. No more a little too curly for my taste. If my hair being healthy meant that it was ultra curly, that's what I was doing. It was kind of crazy because prior to this point, I didn't want my hair to look like that. But I started to actually see myself differently. The way I perceived myself in the mirror was completely different. So we'll get into that a little bit more later. But I started styling my hair upside down more regularly because with Bounce Curl, I suddenly was able to do it really well, and I loved how it looked. And even better, I started to achieve the magical day 2 hair. Bounce Curl was the first product that allowed me to get to that point. I was like, wow, I finally feel like I'm making real progress with my hair. So because I was seeing so much progress, I was like, you know what? I need to track this better. So I created my curly Instagram in September of 2018. And later that month, I also became 100% CG, and I threw out my last non-curly girl product, which was my Trust My Hairspray. Rest in peace. So I count September 2018 as my like official curly girl start date, but in reality I was kind of working towards it the year prior. So from September on, at this point is when we could start scrolling through Instagram to see my progress, and my hair just started to get better and better. And around this time, I kept thinking, like in fall 2018 and early winter 2018, like, I'm transitioned, I'm done, my hair is 100% healthy. And I continued to surprise myself. As I immersed myself in the Curly Girl method, started learning more about ingredients and protein moisture balance, I started to see better results, more consistent results, more long-lasting washes. Really, every time I thought I transitioned, I was like, no, I'm not done. My hair is still improving. And so I always say that the transition is never ending. We're continuously learning about our hair, continuously getting it to a better place. And so you may be wondering about me and heat styling. So I straighten my hair once a year or less. I no longer travel with a straightener, and I no longer feel like I need to straighten my hair for certain things. So I was straightening it to go to any special event, but now I definitely feel way more comfortable wearing my hair curly, especially because I've realized that wearing my hair curly is much more reliable than wearing it straight. I used to think that if my hair was straight on a humid day, that was better because then I could just straighten over it. Whereas I know now that fighting your curly hair on a humid day is the worst possible decision, so wearing my hair in its natural state is the best way to go. Of course, now that I no longer travel with my straightener, I travel with my diffuser, which takes up way more space in my bag, but you know, it's just gotta weigh what's better for you. Another surprise for me was the way that I started to feel about myself. So like I mentioned, I really started to perceive my hair differently, and I was like, wow, I actually like the way it looks. These perception changes kind of filtered to my entire body. So like many of you, I had experienced trouble with the way that I felt about my body in the past, accepting a part of me that I had kind of started to fight for many years. A allowed me to embrace my entire self and truly accept my body and the way that it looked. And I truly never thought that embracing my curly hair would lead to this, but it's totally true, and I am so grateful for it. So if you're watching this because you're wondering how your journey might go, it's different for everyone. Transitioning can take a really long time, especially depending on how much damage you have. If you're someone who was straightening every single day and you have pieces that are totally straight, it might take some time longer than it took me. And it's really hard to give an estimate because it kind of depends on you picking up styling techniques and finding products that work well with your hair. But it's all part of the journey, and I totally recommend embracing it fully and jumping headfirst into it because it is really one of the best decisions that you can make. So if you're about to hop in, I really recommend giving yourself the time to transition, learning about the ingredients, about what you're using, paying attention to what works when. Follow tons of people on Instagram, follow people who have hair that looks like you, and follow people who have hair that's different than yours. Take the time to learn about your hair, what it likes, what it doesn't, and have fun with it. Oh, and take progress pictures. Lots and lots of progress pictures. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. In the comments, if you are on your curly hair journey or want to start, I'd love to hear about what got you to this place. Why did you choose to start to embrace your natural texture? If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.